how to use Google Calendar for scheduling. Hey guys, in today's video, I'm going to show you how to use Google Calendar for scheduling your tasks, meetings, and daily routines. Whether you're a student, a freelancer, or just trying to stay organized, this guide will help you make the most out of Google Calendar. So make sure to watch this video till the end, and let's get started. Google Calendar is one of the most efficient tools out there for organizing your life, especially if you're someone who's always on the go. Whether you're juggling work, classes, appointments, or personal tasks, having a clear schedule in front of you can be a total game changer. And the best part? You can access it from literally anywhere: your phone, laptop, tablet, or desktop. Plus, even if you don't have an internet connection for a moment, Google Calendar keeps your data safe and synced, so nothing gets lost. Now let's talk about how to create a weekly schedule using Google Calendar. Start by opening your browser and going to calendar.google.com. Make sure you're signed into your Google account. Once the page loads, it will automatically open the default calendar that's connected to the email you're signed in with. The calendar displayed will be associated with that email address. You'll probably notice a few pre-made calendars on the left-hand side, things like your birthdays calendar, holidays calendar, or maybe a tasks calendar if you've used that feature before. Now, if you want to start fresh and build your schedule from scratch, you may want to avoid cluttering your default calendar with extra events. In that case, it's a good idea to create a brand new calendar dedicated solely to your weekly or personal planning. To do this, go to the top right corner of your screen and click on the gear icon, which opens up the Settings menu. From the drop-down, select Settings. This will take you to a new page where you can manage all kinds of calendar-related preferences. Once you're inside the settings, look at the left-hand menu and find the section called Add Calendar. Click on Create New Calendar. Give your new calendar a name, like My Weekly Schedule or Work Plan, and add a description if you'd like. After that, click Create Calendar at the bottom. And that's it. You've now got a clean, dedicated calendar that you can use to plan your week without mixing it up with birthdays or holidays. At this stage, I've successfully created a separate calendar that I can use to organize my weekly schedule. This new calendar is distinct from my primary calendar and serves a specific purpose, helping me separate my personal commitments from scheduled tasks, such as work, study, or other professional appointments. This kind of segregation is especially helpful in avoiding confusion and maintaining a clear structure in daily planning. Once the calendar is created, I can see it appear on the left-hand sidebar under the My Calendars section. From here, I have the flexibility to choose which calendars are visible. For instance, I can display all my calendars at once, including my main calendar, personal calendar, and the newly created weekly planner, or I can choose to view only the weekly calendar to keep my focus on the tasks and events I've scheduled for the current week. Now I'll switch the calendar view to week by clicking on the drop-down in the top right corner. This changes the layout to show just 1 week at a time, which is more suitable for detailed scheduling. So I'll use the right-facing arrow at the top of the calendar to navigate to that week. To start adding items to my schedule, I have two options. I can either click directly on a specific date and time slot on the calendar, or I can use the Create button on the top left of the screen. This allows me to create an event, set a reminder, add a task, or even build an appointment schedule. Google Calendar also offers a unique feature, the ability to create appointment schedules. However, it's important to note that each Gmail account can only create one appointment schedule for free. If you need more than one, you would have to upgrade to a Google Workspace subscription. Let's say I want to add a recurring task to my schedule. For example, suppose I have weekly classes I need to attend. I can create an event called Classes, set the time and days they occur, and mark it as a repeating event every week. This way, it will automatically appear on my calendar every week without me having to manually enter it each time. By utilizing features like these, I can build an organized and consistent weekly plan, helping me stay productive and manage my time effectively. Now let's say this particular entry I'm adding is a daily task that I need to complete every weekday. Instead of manually entering it for each day, I'll configure it to repeat. To do that, I'll choose the Custom Repeat option. Next, I'll specify the recurrence pattern. Since this task needs to happen on weekdays only, I'll select Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday as the active days. Google Calendar offers a helpful shortcut by letting me select weekly on weekdays, which automatically sets it to repeat on those 5 days. Now I'll set the default time for this task. Suppose my university classes begin at 9 a.m. every day. I'll enter that as the start time. I can also add a description to help me stay organized. In this case, I'll type something like University Classes for Spring Semester. Once I've entered all the necessary details, I'll simply click Save. After saving the event, I'll see that the task has now been automatically populated across my calendar for each of the selected days during the specified week. It's important to note that if you're adding this as a task rather than an event, you'll need to make sure the task calendar is visible. If it isn't enabled, your tasks might not show up in the main calendar view. Now let's consider another scenario. What if I want to insert a personal appointment during this same week? For example, maybe I have a coffee meetup planned. To add an appointment like this, the most straightforward approach is to look at the specific date and time on the calendar where the appointment is scheduled. Let's say it's for tomorrow at 7 p.m. I'll scroll to the hourly section of the calendar and locate the 7 p.m. time slot. Once there, I'll simply click on that area, and a pop-up will appear prompting me to choose whether I want to create a task, an event, or a reminder. In this case, I'll select Event since it's a scheduled outing. I'll then give the event a title, something like Coffee with a Friend, and confirm the time and any other relevant details such as location, notifications, or a short note. Once I've filled out the information, I'll click Save, and the appointment will be added to my calendar. To keep everything organized, especially when juggling multiple types of entries, I recommend keeping your weekly schedule calendar separate from your primary calendar. This makes it easier to focus on specific areas of your life, whether it's academics, work, or personal plans, without the clutter of overlapping events or unrelated tasks. Once I've selected the appropriate time slot for my appointment, I can now proceed to define the exact timing of the event. I can easily set this range using the time picker when creating the event. Since this is a one-time event and does not repeat weekly or daily, I'll leave the repetition setting as Does Not Repeat. Additionally, Google Calendar offers several customization options for each event. I can invite another person by entering their email address in the Add Guests field. This sends them an invitation and gives them access to event details. I can also choose to enable video conferencing such as Google Meet if it's a virtual meetup, or add a physical location if the appointment is in person. Moreover, I have the option to include a description, attach relevant documents, or align the appointment with a specific calendar I've created for weekly scheduling. Once I'm satisfied with all the details, I simply click the Save button and the event is added to my weekly calendar. Now, let's say that during the rest of the day I have a longer commitment or project I'm working on. For example, I might be dedicating time from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. to focus on a research project. To do this, I can go to the relevant day on my calendar, left-click and hold on the time slot starting at 1 p.m., and then drag down to extend the event duration until 5 p.m. This intuitive drag-and-drop functionality makes it easy to set longer durations for activities without manually entering start and end times. Once I've adjusted the time, I can title the task something like Work on Research Project and then click Save. To make your weekly schedule more visually organized, Google Calendar also allows you to change the color of events. This is particularly useful if you want to visually separate different types of activities. For instance, you can assign one color to academic tasks, another to personal appointments, and a third to professional meetings. Just click on the event, select the color palette icon, and choose a shade that makes it easier to recognize your schedule at a glance. This system of color coding and separating tasks into distinct calendars, like one specifically for your weekly schedule, helps you clearly distinguish repetitive daily activities from unique one-time appointments. Furthermore, at the top right of the Google Calendar interface, there's a dedicated Tasks panel. This allows you to manage a running list of to-dos and tasks that may not be tied to a specific time slot. You can use this feature to stay on track with action items or reminders throughout your week. Finally, for items that don't quite fit into your calendar as a timed event, but still need to be addressed, you can utilize the Notes section. For example, you might have certain low-priority tasks or follow-ups you want to complete by the end of the week, but aren't ready to schedule yet. In this case, you can create a weekly reminder or note event at the end of the week, perhaps on Sunday evening, and title it something like Review Weekly Notes. This serves as a helpful trigger to look over anything you've added as pending or tentative tasks. By using all these features, from timed events to tasks, color coding, and notes, you can build a comprehensive and organized weekly schedule that keeps your personal, academic, and professional responsibilities in balance. At the bottom of your Google Calendar interface, you'll find options to add supplementary calendars for additional context or convenience. These could include religious calendars, national holidays, regional events, or even astronomical data, like phases of the moon. You can choose to display any of these by simply enabling them under the Other Calendars section. Google also gives you the option to add a calendar via URL, which is helpful if you're subscribing to external calendars like academic timetables, sports schedules, or public event feeds. Now, one of the most useful features to complement your weekly scheduling is the notifications system. If you've scheduled an event, say a coffee meetup with a friend, you can make sure you don't miss it by setting a timely alert. To do this, simply click on the event and then choose the Edit option. On the left-hand side, you'll see an Add Notification button. Click on it and you'll be able to set a reminder. You can choose whether the notification comes via email or directly to your device. For instance, if you prefer a push notification on your phone, select Notification instead of Email, and then set it to alert you 30 minutes before the event starts. Once done, hit Save to update the event. If you'd like to go a step further in organizing your tasks or appointments, click on the event again and choose Edit. In the top right corner, you'll see options such as Duplicate the event, Publish it, making it publicly shareable, Change owner, which transfers calendar control to someone else, or Copy to another calendar, like your main calendar or a separate personal one. These advanced features are particularly useful if you're managing shared events or juggling multiple calendars. Using all these capabilities, ranging from task scheduling and appointment management to calendar overlays and notifications, you can transform Google Calendar into a powerful weekly planning tool that keeps every part of your life organized and on track. And that's how you can use Google Calendar to schedule and manage your time effectively. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more productivity tips. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.